Hello, welcome to Beach View, our podcast about all sorts of things and stuff.
Yes, and today we're doing movies again, and another spooky movie like we do every Halloween season.
Yeah.
This time it is Jacob's Ladder, which is a 1990 film.
Yeah, so more like I guess you would call it like a psychological thriller, maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's definitely spooky, but in like a different kind of way. Not like jump scare.
Yeah, there's a few of those in here, but
Yeah.
it's mostly pretty tame on that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's got the gore. It's got some gore to it. It's got
Occasionally,
some
yeah.
Yeah. But it's more like, ooh, that's like freaky kind of stuff. You know, like, ooh.
Yeah.
Not like it's not like a slasher film or anything.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, what'd you think?
I have some mixed feelings about this one. So I didn't know anything about this movie. I've heard it like referenced before, but I couldn't tell you at all like what it was about, who was in it, like nothing. So I came into it not knowing anything, and like, I thought it was good. It was creepy to me, which most things are, but it wasn't what I expected at all. I like that it was a psychological thriller. I usually like those kinds of movies, but some of the hallucinations were like real creepy. Some of the time I was like, is this really happening? Is it not happening?
Yeah.
Other times you could tell like it's a hallucination, but I don't know. I'm just very divided on if I liked the ending or not. I liked it. I think I liked it.
But
You didn't?
I didn't like this movie, so...
Yeah. I wouldn't watch it again. I'll say that.
No.
But there's a lot of like creepy movies I wouldn't watch again. I think probably for its time, 1990 release, it was probably more like, wow, this is, we haven't seen a lot of this before. I'm assuming.
Is that true? I don't know if that's true. I don't know enough about
Yeah.
like, this style of... Like, it's pulling on a lot of, like, Vietnam vet tropes and,
Yes.
like, finding out about, like, U.S. government experimentation, like MK Ultra and that sort of psychedelic stuff.
Yes. I feel like maybe the Vietnam stuff wasn't newer, but I guess spoiler alert, 'cause we're going to get into it, but the kind of like hallucination dreamlike state was maybe newer at that time. Because I know I've seen like subsequent things later on. I don't know. I just feel like maybe for its time, it was like, wow, this is kind of cool. Whereas now it wasn't. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I don't know. I don't have a good enough like history of film to know that this sort of thing is all that commonplace. Like,
yeah.
I feel like it. I don't know. I just don't know enough.
I'm thinking like, is it Inception? And there's some other movies that I've seen since then that are kind of like, you get to the end and you're like, oh, okay, this was all like, kind of not a dream, but hallucination. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I feel like I've seen stuff like that.
That is a fairly common story trope, I think. Like,
gotcha. I felt maybe like 1990, it was like, oh, okay, this is cool. Because I've seen this movie referenced, so like, why was it referenced? That's the only thing I'm saying. Like, maybe at the time it was kind of like, whoa. I don't know. Good question. I didn't look into it, so...
What is that one short story? When was that written? I read it in school. An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, I think this is it.
Oh, never heard of it.
It's from 1890.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, so it's about a guy getting hanged in...
Ew.
Yeah, he's about to be hanged by, I think it's Civil War, but he makes a daring escape. And then at the end, you realize that, he, actually did get hanged and he was all imagining the story of his daring escape. Which, again, this is 100 years prior, so not a new idea.
So I'm wondering what the references were, because, like, I've definitely heard references to Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
know either. Yeah.
I don't know, like, how popular this is. Like, I didn't know much about it. The reason I knew about it is supposedly influential on a popular horror video game series called Silent Hill, which I see like the pieces of influence that game series takes from this, but it's also just like way better at doing what it does than this is.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, but yeah, the parts I didn't like of it, well, one, I thought it would be weirder.
Yeah.
Like, I thought there would be more of those weird hallucination bits, or like, there's those like demons that appear and they like basically
Yes.
drop out of the film by the second half.
Yeah. I think like right from the get-go when he's on the train and the lady is just like looking all creepy at him, I was like, okay, this is gonna be like a real creepy movie. And I don't think it was creepy like that.
No.
And some of it was just a little like goofy. To me it got interesting when he meets the guy and then his car blows up.
Yeah.
To me, that was kind of like the turning point for me where I was like, oh, let's see what happens now. Like, whereas the whole beginning part, I was just kind of like, okay, like, let's go, gore, demons, etc. Like, what's next? So to me, that's kind of where the plot like started thickening to me.
Yeah, the beginning of this movie's fairly plotless.
Yes.
Like, it takes a while for the plot to actually come in.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know, I like the, man haunted by weird visions part better than the, like, government conspiracy thriller part, which are kind of at odds with each other.
You think so?
Yeah, but, well, I think that's intentional, because it's supposed to be like, well, what is actually happening here for parts of the movie? Because it's like, you've got these weird demon things, are they real? And he keeps, like, saying, I'm alive, or am I dead? Like, that's a constant recurring thing. And it's like, yeah, is that real? Is he maybe, like, dying? Like, and there's a partway through the film where his, chiropractor is, like, it's like, you'll see them as demons if you don't want to let go, but if you're, like, made peace with it, you'll see them as angels.
Yeah.
And he's like, so, you think, like, okay, is this like, he's fighting for his fate? Like, he's dying and he's trying not to let go and he's being tormented by demons? Or is this like he's been dosed with, some sort of psychological, like, psychedelic drug in an army experiment? Like, what's the actual answer here? I think that's an intentional misdirection. I don't know, I didn't care for that. I also don't think they should have, the ending, I don't think should have been as explicit as it was. I think you should leave that to, interpretation more.
Yeah. I kind of like that it was explicit, though, because I was like, what in the heck? Yeah, at first I was like, when the chiropractor, like, went in and, like, took him out of the hospital, I was like, what? Like, why is this chiropractor here? Like, I was just kind of, like, so confused. And
he
then
asked
when he
for
was,
him.
Like, I didn't realize, or I guess I didn't remember that, but yeah, I was like, why is the chiropractor here? And also, like when his family came into the hospital and she was like, I still love you. I was like, this has to be a hallucination. Like, I don't know. Anyway, the whole time I'm just thinking like, okay, what's reality and what's not? And I thought it did a good job of that, because I was like, the whole time watching was like, what's real, what's not? I mean, obviously, like, the crazy demons are not reality. But I was like, did he take some drugs and is now like schizophrenic, or is this just like PTSD from his time in Vietnam? And then I'm like, was he in Vietnam? Like, like, I'm questioning everything.
Yeah.
So, or was it just like the death of his son? Did his son actually die? Like, that whole thing. I was just a little bit like, okay, what's real and what's not? I did like the ending, I have to say, because it was like, okay, I get it now. But I don't know. It was an interesting movie, I will say that.
No, I thought this could have been a lot weirder. I think, like, yeah, the beginning's like I said, weirdly plotless until the plot kicks in, and I didn't really like care for the like government conspiracy part of it, and it just like, I don't know.
Yeah, when they showed like his like partner, like lover, whatever, I don't really know what she is to him. When they showed her as like being one of the like surgical techs or whatever you want to call them, like in the hospital scene.
At the evil hospital.
Yeah, at the evil hospital. I was like, is she even with him? Like, or was she like working on him and he imagined all of this? Or like, was he seeing her face in one of these people? Like, it was Like, that whole thing, I was like, okay, what's going on? Like, I was confused part of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was confusing. You didn't know what was real or not. And then, so the part for me when all of the guys got together, that were in Vietnam with them at the funeral of the man whose car blew up, when all the guys got together and they were all sitting there talking, and only one of them was like saying he didn't have any problems and all the rest of them did. I was just kind of like, what? And I really thought the movie was going to take another turn when they like contacted the lawyer. I thought it was going to turn into like, a lawsuit against the army, and they were going to go through like that whole process, but I'm kind of glad they didn't. But I just thought it was going to take another turn. Like, I didn't foresee that the lawyer was going to call and be like, you never served in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Also, that lawyer was Jason Alexander from Seinfeld.
Yeah, I clocked that right away.
Yeah, when she showed up, I was like, what?
Yeah. There were some people in here, like, Ving Rhames was in it, and I was like, oh, wow. I thought he was just, like, action movies, like, like, not in the 1990s. So that was kind of interesting.
I don't know who that is, so.
Oh, he's, let's see, who is his character?
It's also, Macaulay Culkin was in this.
Yes, and he was uncredited.
No, really?
Ving Rhames was, George, which I think he was one of the friends, or, I also noticed, because I was watching the credits, and I was like, Macaulay Culkin's not there. So I did look that up, because I'm like, that's definitely Macaulay Culkin, and it looked like there may have been contractual issues with Macaulay Culkin's dad, who was his manager at the time, and that's why he wasn't credited. And I was like, that's so weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ving Rhames was the guy who dropped his beer. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I don't know who Ving Rhames is as like an
He's
actor.
been in other movies. I'm trying to think like what's notable.
Con Air.
Yeah.
Lilo and Stitch. Dawn of the Dead.
He was in like Mission Impossible, maybe.
He was in Pulp Fiction. I don't know as who, but yeah, and he's appearing in all 8 installments of Mission Impossible, apparently. So, yeah. He's a pretty big deal as an actor.
I was gonna say, I kind of remember him from that. Yeah. I thought that was interesting. And then, I swear, when I was watching it, when he's in, like, the terrible hospital, the hospital of horrors, if you will, that the surgeon or the doctor, I thought that was John Cusack. But I did not see his name on the credits.
Yeah, I don't think that's John Cusack, but I
was like, I think that's John Cusack, and then I'm like, okay, maybe not, but I need to look that up. Like, who is that guy?
But yeah, didn't like this film, but want to get into a plot synopsis?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, this is gonna be difficult.
Yeah.
So, we open the scene of them in Vietnam, where they're just kind of like hanging around, and then an attack starts, and there's a lot of chaos because like multiple people are like holding their head, or like one of them's convulsing, and there's this whole thing. And in the chaos, our main character, Jacob, the titular Jacob, gets separated and gets bayoneted, and he wakes up in a New York subway, which, you think that maybe that's like a flashback sort of deal. He had fallen asleep. And the train's like kind of weird. Like he goes over and talks to an old lady who's like just kind of not paying attention to him.
Real creepy.
He gets up and all the entrances are blocked, so he has to cross over. Almost gets hit by an incoming train, which has like weird corpse-looking things in the window looking at him. So something unsettling's happening. He gets home and talks to his girlfriend, something. Never, like, fully said what their relationship is, but talks to her, gets some pictures the next morning from his ex-wife, including one of his now-deceased son, which gets him emotional. And his girlfriend, Jezzy, decides to burn the pictures. He goes to work. I don't know, does he really do anything at work?
I never see him actually working. We just know he's got a PhD.
Yeah, he's got a PhD and he's working at the post office. He goes to work, goes home, has the day off, goes out again, gets, like, walks down an alleyway and hit a car that has, like, a demon in it, or the weird, like, you always see them at a distance, so you're never quite sure what they are, but they have these, like, prosthetics on them that make them look like corpses, kind of.
Creepy.
The car goes and tries to run him over, and he's like, what's happening, what's going on? He goes home and tells Jesse about this, and then, like, this beginning part's relatively plotless, so I don't really have, there's long stretches of stuff not really happening. He goes and sees his chiropractor and has a conversation about stuff. He has a flashback, like, a few times in here about stuff happening in Vietnam, like him, like, trying to, he's been stabbed and he's, like, crawling through at night the jungle, and trying to, like, find, his way back to wherever, trying to survive. He, goes to see his doctor, and the nurse at the front desk is like, nobody here works, the doctor doesn't work here, we don't have his name on file, we don't have your name on file. So he goes and runs in and finds somebody, he's like, isn't this his office? He's like, oh, sorry, he died, about a month ago, his car exploded. So he's like, this is all weird, doesn't know what's happening, does anything else happen in here? I don't think anything important does.
Yeah, just a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah. They go to a party, him and Jesse go to a party, and he's, like, just kind of hanging around. Eventually he has an hallucination that, his girlfriend is, like, doing a sexy dance with a monster.
Yeah.
And then he, like, screams and passes out. First Jesse's upset at him for this, but then he, starts running a 106-degree fever.
Yeah, which is like, you're dead.
Yeah, so they put him in an ice bath, and he's, like, screaming about it. He has a dream or something where he wakes up from a dream and is talking to his wife, his ex-wife. But it's like, it's unclear if this is a dream, a memory, or what's happening, like, exactly. But then he goes, his kid, who's dead, comes and finds him and is like, I can't go to sleep, can you come tuck me in? So he goes and tucks them in, and all three of his kids are there, even though one of them's supposed to be dead, so, some sort of hallucination, not sure what's happening, but he wakes up in the next morning, and he's, like, not feeling great, and that's when he gets a phone call from his, military, like, someone he served with, who's like, I need to talk to you, and he's like, well, I'm not supposed to be out, I've been sick, and he's like, no, I really need to talk to you, and he's like, okay, fine, so they meet at a bar. There's this one weird guy who's, like, loitering in the background, this comes up later. But, I meet in the car and he's like, yeah, I've been haunted by these demons. They're, like, coming to get me or something. And it doesn't feel like there's anything I can do about it. And he's like, yeah, I've seen the demons too. Jacob is. And then they go outside, and his car explodes. His war buddy's car explodes. And he is pulled back from the explosion by, that guy who was loitering in the background earlier. Who then, like, proceeds to piss off. Yeah. Disappears. So they go to the funeral after this, and he's meeting with all of his old war buddies who are like, he's like, well, what did he say when you met him, when you talked to him last? He's like, yeah, he said he was haunted by demons, and all of them there but one are having the same sort of hallucinations, apparently. So they all, like, get to talking, they're like, we should go to a lawyer and try to sue the government. They go to the lawyer's office, the lawyer's, like, not happy about this, but he's like, fine, I'll take your statements, I'll try to open up a case, and then he goes and the lawyer later calls and says this is canceled, like, I'm not doing this. He calls his old war buddies and they're like, no, we can't do this, and he's like, why, who got to you, what's happening? And they're like, they can't do this, and he's suspicious, so he goes and meets the lawyer, who's, like, just walking out of court, and he talks to him and he's like, listen, I don't know what sort of sick joke, but you never went to Vietnam. You, all got discharged for psychological reasons after some war games in Thailand. And he's like, it's like, at this point you're thinking, oh, were they, like, experimented on by the army, and there's, like, a cover-up now, and, they're not, like, brave enough to go through with it. And then he gets, like, abducted by two guys in suits, who seem to be, like, with the government. They put him in a car, and they're like, listen, you need to stop talking about this. It was a long time ago, just let it go. He gets in a fight with them in the car, eventually falls out of the car and hurts his back. A man in a Santa costume robs him.
Yeah.
And they take him to the hospital, where he's like they're bringing him in, and then they're like, he talks to them for a while, and like, okay, take him for an X-ray. When they take him for the X-ray, he gets transported / hallucinates another world where he gets taken to the evil hospital, which has like blood all over the floors, and like there's like a upper level grate that he's looking up at as he's being dragged in that has a bunch of people there. It's like a psychological hospital. It's their own like straitjackets and stuff. And then he goes into the operating room and he's like strapped down really good, and there's like 8 people operating there. He sees one of them as Jezebel. And he's like, no, I'm alive. He's like, no, you're dead. This whole thing. Then he wakes up and he's back at the hospital. The normal hospital, not the evil hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that's so funny to me, just the concept of, like, he gets taken to the evil hospital. It's funny to me.
You're like, what kind of establishment is this?
Yeah, but he's constantly saying, I need my chiropractor during this hospital scenes. He meets his ex-wife with his 2 sons. She's like, I still love you, blah, blah. You know, he repeats, like, am I dead? It's like, no, I'm alive, it's just my back. Constant thing happening. Then his chiropractor comes and breaks him out of the hospital.
Yeah, that's the part where I was like, what? Like, I know he was asking for him, but like, in what world does your chiropractor come and break you out of the hospital, you know?
Yeah, well, you know, this is all, like, very dream-like, weird stuff are happening. There's some, you know, like, he seems to really trust him, and it seems like, you know, you're thinking maybe he knows what the government did to him if you're going with the government thing. He's like, he called him an angel prior. He said Jacob said his chiropractor looked like an angel. Yeah. So, you know, maybe he's, like, supernatural in some way. You know, it's this whole thing.
Yeah.
But he goes and he has a conversation about him, like, starts doing his thing, and he ends up, like, being able to walk. And during the conversation, he says, like, when you're dying, the people trying to send you to the other side, if you don't want to go, if you struggle, they'll appear like demons. But if you're, like, made peace with it and are ready to go, they'll appear as angels, taking you to where, you know. So there's, like, that in the mix. Then he goes home, and is, like, sitting there for a while. But he's, you know, looking at old pictures, stuff like that. His girlfriend comes home, answers the phone, and is like, I want to meet him. And he's like, he goes and meets him. It's that guy from earlier who saved him from the burning wreckage. And he's like, yeah, so I was making LSD. I got arrested, and the army offered me release if I went and helped them with some weird, like, project they were working on. He's like, yeah, I worked on these, like, psychedelic drugs they had for a specific purpose that was supposed to increase aggression, and it was going to make, like, the army more effective. And they tested it out on your unit, and you all killed each other. And you were one of the few survivors.
Crazy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're thinking, okay, is maybe that what's going on? He leaves, next he goes on that taxi? And he's having, like, a few hallucinations in the meantime or something?
Yeah, I think so. He gets in the taxi and he says he wants to go to Brooklyn, and the guy's like, not with me.
Yeah, and he says he wants to go home. And it's like, forget, the guy's name was D'Angelo or Angelo or something. Yeah, he remembers his thing about, like, what he was saying about you'll see them as an angel. He goes to, what's his, ex-wife's home, his old home. And he goes there and he finds his, like, you know, now dead son, who's like, yeah, come on. And he walks up some stairs, and it's like, you know, he's like, it's time to go or something like that. You know, it's like, he's ascending to heaven is the the obvious thing that's happening there. Yeah. And then we cut to him dead on an operating table in a field hospital in Vietnam. The doctors there say he's dead, but he sure put up a lot of fight before he went. So
yeah,
that's what happened in the end. Is he died in Vietnam, and this has all been a hallucination.
Yeah, what a hallucination.
Yep,
it's very interesting. And then the last card, whatever you call that, at the end of the movie where it has words on it. It says that the US Army...
the U.S. Army has been accused of using a certain chemical agent that had, like, hallucinogenic properties.
Yeah, but the Pentagon denied it. So that's, like, the last scene of the movie. Yeah, so I'm like, wow. So this whole time he was dying and it was a hallucination. Like, that's quite a complex hallucination, like, that spanned, like, days of a person's life.
Yes, well, it's a movie. It's movie magic.
It's a movie. Movie magic. I was just like, what? Okay. Wow. But I said I liked the ending because the whole time I'm going like, what's real? What's not? I'm having trouble deciphering, which is the whole point. So I kind of like that it like wrapped it all up in a nice little bow.
Yeah.
And you're
Turns
like,
out
okay,
none
all
of
of
it's
this was
real.
fake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, maybe the Vietnam scenes might be real.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, because part of the time I was like, were these scenes real? Like, what's going on? You know, like while I'm watching it. And then, yeah, like, so, but then I'm like, well, who were these people? Like Jesse and, you know, like the chiropractor, were they actually other people in his life that he was just, you know, imagining that they had these other types of relationships or they played different roles or what?
Yeah.
So it's still a little bit, you know, there's still some questions. And then you're like, okay, so when they showed the scene of him, like, okay, they pronounced him dead, and you realize it was all like a hallucination, and then they have the part about the army used hallucinogenic drug or was accused of using hallucinogenic drugs. You're like, okay, so did they all really like kill each other like that, or
Right, yeah.
was the hallucination when he was dying because of the drugs? Like, so anyway, there's still questions. So it's still a little bit murky, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like I said, I wouldn't watch it again. I don't love war stuff like that.
No, yeah. And I didn't realize it was that at all.
Yeah. I don't love like the gore and that kind of stuff. I don't like to see the atrocities of war. And it's like, you know, kind of makes you very sad because there were veterans that had a lot of problems from Vietnam, and just like, you know, that kind of stuff. I'm just like, on the spooky theme, I would say, like I said, psychological thriller. It was creepy, but not in like a Halloween kind of way. Not in a spooky season kind of way.
Yeah, there's like I think there's like 2 jump scares. There's the one where he's looking in his mirror and he thinks he sees like a figure that's like one of those like demons that's just like shaking.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's definitely some scary parts in this like that, creepy. So I guess, yeah, maybe let me take that back. There are some creepy, because now I'm thinking about like when he's in the terrible hospital and the surgeon like is like putting a needle in his head, like that's a spooky, you know, and then they show like the surgeon's face and he doesn't have eyes.
Right, yeah.
Like that kind of stuff. So I mean, like the demon things are kind of like real creepy. So maybe it's just like scary in a different way, I guess.
Yeah.
And maybe because those scenes were like interspersed, it wasn't like the whole movie wasn't like that.
Right, yeah.
That's why I just say like it wasn't like a spooky season movie, but I guess psychological thrillers really are spooky season. Now that I'm talking it out, I'll go with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't like the conspiracy thriller plot where they're like going to go against the government, or like the government did, like, I don't know. I find that story less interesting than the one where he's being like haunted by hallucinations and or demons.
Oh, see, I'm the opposite. I would prefer like a real plot like that as opposed to hallucinations.
Well, what if they're not hallucinations? What if they're actually real demons that are tormenting him, you know?
I mean, yeah, I guess so. I just don't know. Yeah. The whole time I really was like, is this guy schizophrenic? Like what's the whole thing here? But yeah, it was interesting. I know they did like a remake. Was it 2019? Something like that.
I guess. I don't know any. Yeah, 2019. I don't know anything about it. I am not watching that.
I'm not watching. I was gonna say I'm not watching that. I think instead of Vietnam, they use like Afghanistan
probably
as the place. But that's all I know about it. I don't want to watch that either. Yeah, that's why I'm like kind of curious of like, was it critically acclaimed when it came out in 1990? Interested to know more about that.
I'll go check. Yeah, it barely made back its budget, it looks like.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's not where you want to be with the movie, and it looks like it got, mixed but mostly positive reviews.
Okay.
So, not anybody's favorite, but I guess not like a total, disaster.
I feel like I don't know, like if you were like presenting this plot to me, I'd be like, that sounds kind of interesting, you know? But when I was watching it, like honestly, I wanted to fast forward through some parts, which is never good in a movie.
Yeah. That beginning's really slow.
Yes, the whole first part, I mean, probably like the whole first half of the movie was like not much.
Yeah, unnecessarily so. Like, this isn't establishing anything important or, like,
Yes.
creating a, like, sense of normalcy, because immediately, like, it opens with, this, like, you know, Vietnam War, like, footage, and then it, goes to the creepy train, so,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt like probably the scariest to me, the creepiest part was that first part where he is on the train and the woman is just staring at him like real creepy, like that lady was scary to me.
That lady's not scary.
Yeah, she's definitely scared. She was like staring at him like
Just an old woman. She might not even speak English. It's New York.
no, she was creepy.
No.
She was like she was intentionally made creepy. Like her eyes were real wide and she was just like staring like a crazy person. So
No.
yeah, thought that was creepy. The whole like demon things, they didn't scare me.
No.
I was just like, that's kind of goofy.
I like the scene where that monster shows up randomly, but I wish there was more of that.
Yeah.
I thought the effects on that monster were decent, especially because they hardly show it. It's all like really dark and strobe lights, and like you just see parts of it. I think that I like that part of it, but
yeah. And the surgery part was creepy.
Yeah.
Where he's like strapped into that cage looking thing and
Yeah, but that's so much more legible to me. It's like he goes to the hospital and then ends up in an evil version of the hospital. Then like he's at a party and starts kind of like has like a weird interaction and then starts like the palm reader tells him this says you're already dead.
Yeah.
So and then he starts like having this like he doesn't want to dance, so he kind of like half-heartedly does it. And then a monster shows up. I think there should have been more monsters and stuff in here, and like
more monsters.
Yeah, more stuff that destabilizes the chronology. Like when he's having that thing that's like, is this a memory? Where he wakes up with his ex-wife, now ex-wife, but it's like, is this a memory or is this like a dream he's having, or like what's happening here?
Yeah, it's very. I thought like it was gonna be like just a big PTSD thing. Also, because, like you're saying, like those types of things will like trigger like these hallucinations and stuff. So, yeah, I just didn't, I didn't know because it was listed as like horror. So I was like, thought it was just going to be like creepier, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think there should have been more monstery bits, and it should have been less stable. And I don't think the ending should have been as like direct as it was. I like ambiguity in these sorts of things where you're not quite sure what's actually happening, because at the end they like just flat out confirm it and he was dead the whole time, and I just don't care for this was all a dream, he was dead the whole time type of stories. I think that's just very rarely done well, and it's normally like really hacky. I don't know, never been a fan of it.
Usually I get mad at the end when it's like none of this was real, and I'm like, well, what was the point of me watching 2 hours of this film? Like,
right, yeah.
But I do kind of like an ending that is very much like cut and dry, but also because there's still questions at the end for me, so I thought that was fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think any of the questions mattered.
No, they really don't. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't give it a bad rating, but it was kind of like, I don't want to watch this again. And I wouldn't recommend it to people either.
Also, not the best acting. There's some decent bits of cinematography, but like I don't know, just actor like the main guy and some of the other I don't know, they're just kind of flat.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't bother me, but yeah, I feel like every time I see Jason Alexander, he's always just like looking hassled in a movie. Like he's like always like kind of the jerk.
Yeah.
Like doesn't want to listen to people.
He's typecasted, certainly.
Yeah, he's definitely typecasted. So I thought that was kind of funny, but
I thought he was fine
Yeah.
for what he was doing.
And, okay, I looked up the guy who played the surgeon, obviously not John Cusack. It's Scott Cohen, I think was his name. I already forgot. I looked it up a second ago. But I have seen him in other pieces, and that's why I was like, I know who that is.
Okay, I don't know who that is, so.
Did not know he was around in the 1990s, so that's interesting.
Okay. But anyways, yeah, I guess that's, conclusions. You were mixed on it. I thought it was a bad movie.
Yeah. I'm always a little more lenient.
Yeah, if you played video games, I would make you play Silent Hill, but...
Oh.
In fairness, those games are also a lot longer, because games are usually longer than movies, so...
I'd probably be bored.
Yeah, that's our spooky movie for the month. One of the weakest ones we've done, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I guess I had to get you back for introducing us to... what was that TV show?
The Mayfair Witches.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather watch Mayfair Witches than this.
That's tough. That's
sad.
Because I think Mayfair Witches is worse, but it's more interesting in some ways.
Yes, I agree. I prefer the characters and stuff from Mayfair Witches, but yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah, that's two
All right,
bad
we gotta
ones
redeem
in a
We
row.
gotta redeem ourselves. It's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, happy spooky season, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
You have anything else, or I'll take us out?
No, that's it.
All right, well, this has been Beach View. Thanks for listening, and tune in next time. Bye!
Bye.